Welcome back to Out of the Rut. It's your boy X.
Billy. And I'm Ron.
And today we have Dr. Kevin here in the studio with us. Say what up, Dr. Kevin.
What up?
Is it cool if I call you Dr. Kevin?
So I'm actually a nurse practitioner.
Oh, got it. So sorry. Nurse practitioner, no. Kevin.
Kevin's good.
Kevin it is.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us, Kevin. And thank you for letting us record in your space, my friend.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Could you start off just by telling us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, so I'm a family nurse practitioner. So I see all ages from newborn on up for healthcare needs. So everything from traditional medicine. So just like you would go to the doctor, get a physical, go with a sick complaint, possibly get like a skin biopsy, rash, everything from that to I also do some aesthetics. So Botox, lip fillers. I do some IVs, so IVs for hangovers, migraines.
Well, we all know we're coming on a Monday or a Sunday after a weekend.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting your phone number after this. How long you been doing that for?
13 years.
Wow. Dang. All right. So you got some history in the game.
Oh, yeah.
So starting off with the question that we always do with all of our guests, just because it's in the namesake, can you tell us a little bit about a time when you've been in a rut, whether it was personal or professional, and maybe the steps you took to get out of that rut?
Sure. So multiple examples, but even just starting my own practice, just kind of got in a rut with corporate world. That was one of my reasons for opening my own practice. Just so much is driven by insurance and corporate world that you don't actually get to take care of patients like you want to. So just kind of got in a rut a couple of years ago before I started my own practice. Just kind of really bogged down with patients. Was the only provider there. Just kind of sick of all the corporate people telling me what to do and how to do it and not really getting any appreciation. So, decided, hey, let's take matters in my own hand. Thought, you know what? I see other people doing this online, on Facebook, different groups I belong to. Why can't I open my own practice and do it better?
Heck yeah. I feel like that's kind of the precipice of most people getting into their own practice or getting into their own, working for themselves, essentially, is just tired of working for the man.
Oh, yeah.
But Absolutely. Let's get into the gritty of this, guys.
Yeah.
Who wants to start us off?
I got you. I got some questions here to throw your way. All right. So what originally pulled you into the field? Was it a calling, a moment, or something personal?
So something personal. I was actually born, believe it or not, 3 months early.
Oh, you were born?
I was born.
Wow.
Not only was
I love the pause there. He goes, believe it or not, I was born.
Not only born, but born early. Hey, all right.
All right.
Yeah, so I weighed 1 pound, 13 ounces.
1 pound, 13 ounces?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Holy crap.
Yep,
That is nothing. That is
Yep.
a little fit in the palm of your hand.
Yeah.
Slept in my parents' dresser.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yep. But yeah, ever since I found that out, decided I wanted to give back to people and wanted to be a specialist nurse for premature babies.
Okay.
So went and did that. Still talked to my neonatologist that took care of me years ago. Did a program in high school where I went and visited her and the nurses that took care of me and got to meet some of them. My mom had like a journal every day with how I was doing, my weight, all that. So yeah, ever since I found all that out, I just decided to go into healthcare and help people.
How long, because I know I've heard of, obviously being premature and stuff like that, but I've never heard of that light weight. How long do you have to stay in the hospital for before you got to come home?
Yeah. So I was in there for about 3 months.
3 months, wow.
I was going to say, in case you couldn't tell, Kevin, 3 of us know nothing about babies or kids.
None of us have them.
Yeah, you could have given me any weight, and I'd have been like, wow, that's crazy. But I'll be honest, I don't really know the difference. I know nothing about kids.
No, I've heard premature 4 pounds and that's very light.
Yeah.
So 1 pound, that's
insane to me. Yeah. I can't even really fathom what a 1 pound baby looks like.
Was there any concern that you wouldn't have made it or you were too light or?
Yep. So actually there was a group picture with everybody, and I like to joke, but I'm the only one that didn't have a disability.
Oh, damn. Really?
But I had a grade 4 brain bleed, which is the worst possible. I blew my lungs out the side of my chest, so I still have a
Good
scar
God,
here.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Holy crap.
So I actually had the rickets, which is a vitamin D deficiency that you never hear about.
Yeah, dude, just a laundry list of stuff.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
So you definitely had a purpose to be here.
Yeah, I also feel like you may have beaten a lot of odds just for us, just to sit here and talk with us now. So thank you. And holy
Absolutely,
crap,
yeah.
what a freaking journey.
Yeah.
So that definitely explains the interest in sort of the medical field.
Yeah.
Anything else that kind of like drew you to the field?
Just my natural helping people. I've just always wanted to help people, care about animals, humans, just rewarding to give back to people and be there in their time of need.
What kind of qualities, and as always, gents, I will talk forever, so just interject. I've noticed that, listeners, I am so sorry. While doing the editing for the previous episodes, I noticed I talk a lot, and I'm very sorry. It's that superpowered ADHD that I have. What did the high school years look like in terms of like, how do you feel like the interests that you had in high school set you up for success for what you do now, before we go into the college years of Kevin?
Yep. So I knew at an early age, I'm probably pretty rare, that I wanted to do healthcare. So I sought out courses, science, anatomy. We had like a healthcare nursing club. So just kind of seeking that out myself.
Yeah.
And doing a health occupations program. It was like a CNA program during high school. So where I got to become a CNA.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So I started out in high school in healthcare.
Awesome. And like, were you like really like good at biology, or was that something you had to like kind of like learn to get good at, or was it just sort of like, hey, you're naturally gifted? No.
Everything I've had to do, I've had to work for all my life.
Yeah.
Just study.
Hitting them books.
It gets better with time and with age. Things get easier, but if you understand the basics, you can build on it, and one day it all clicks.
Hey, dude, nice.
Is there anything that you've learned about human behavior or health that you wish more people understood?
Yeah, I would say, mental health. I know it's getting not as much of a stigma, not as much not talked about, but just,
Thank you, COVID.
Just kind of putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. You never know what they're going through. They may look great on the outside, but, just kind of giving them that compassion and kindness and just being a human.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I think that's great, because it is true. Like, there's so much of our perception of people is just what we're able to see, and god dang, there is always so much beyond the surface of what we're capable of seeing. So that's awesome.
And I think when you just like look at someone, you don't really think about like they could be going through something, or like what their day to day is like.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's like a lot of people judge people by their behavior, but they don't really understand what they're going through to make them act that way.
Think about it this way. If you're like walking down the street, walking in the mall, and you see all these people walking, like, how are they doing overall? You think that you're not like a shitty position, but they could be in 10 times worse than what you are.
Yeah. The visual is only so much of the story there.
All right.
Absolutely.
No, that's awesome. Anything else?
I actually do have one question for you, Kevin. So it's kind of digging into like the high school version and then the college version of this. I'm assuming there has been, but how many times do you think you're sitting in the classroom, you're looking at the book, you're at home studying, you're like, this is a lot of fucking shit. like, do I really want to do this for the rest of my life? I'm assuming we all hit that, but like, I know when I was in high school, like science was not my thing. So when I'm sitting in any science class, whether it's chemistry, biology, physics, I'm just like, I don't understand any of this.
Yeah, definitely had tons of moments during nursing school and nurse practitioner. Almost every day I was ready to quit, but I just kept thinking about, okay, I want to get to my end goal. I got to go through hoops. I got to go through all this. So I just try to break things down as simple as possible. Try to find supportive friends and family. Just really looking at the big picture. So I had to win my nurse practitioner program. I had a course. I did it all online. Had a Excel spreadsheet that I printed out, and I marked off the weeks. Every week, I'm like, okay, 1 week down, one class down.
Hey, even if it meant counting the weeks or counting the days, it was like, I'm getting to that end goal.
Absolutely.
Dude, that's awesome. Hell yeah. You got to be motivated as shit to do what you do. And you don't even have to spend a day in it to know that.
When it comes to like schooling and like career itself, because I know the schooling is hard. I've heard a lot of people tell me like nursing school is
and we're going to go
very
into it.
fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like, would you think that the schooling itself is a lot harder than the career field?
Yeah, I would agree with that. The schooling is very, very hard. It's very rigorous. You have to learn a lot in a short amount of time, trying to balance that with life and trying to do clinicals where you're trying to apply and train what you're learning in the classroom up to actual, hey, let's see the patient, let's do all this, trying to put it all together. Yes.
And so going into that now, since we're kind of on the topic, so we talked about high school, the sciences being a big part of your curriculum and focusing on those. Moving into the college years, like what was if you can recall, what was like the college application process, and what was ultimately the steps you took into getting the school you wanted, and what was the education side looking like beyond high school for you?
So it wasn't as competitive as I thought. It was actually fairly simple.
Nice.
Just did prereqs at my community college close to home, nursing school. You had to apply and you have to have a certain grade point in all these classes. But, it really wasn't as hard as looking back. Well, maybe at the time it was hard, but
Sure.
Wasn't really that hard. You just had to have the prerequisites, make sure everything's there. Just find a school that's going to actually support you, actually train you, help support clinical wise, because I didn't have that. I had to find my own clinicals.
Okay, and what are clinicals?
Yep. So clinicals are where you're training to become a nurse practitioner or a nurse. So you go to the hospital, you go with other nurse practitioners or doctors or physician's assistants, and they teach you how to see a patient, how to physically examine them, how to come up with the diagnosis for their symptoms, what blood tests to order, what imaging to order, just what to do with them.
Got it. And do you go to the clinic specifically and be like, hey, I'm a nurse practitioner, or I just graduated. Can I work at your clinic or do that?
Yep, I did. A lot of them don't, but a lot just do Indeed. But I've learned making the human connection or a personal connection, and then, just kind of pulling those strings and working that. And yeah, I did that before. I just walked in and said, hey, I want to work for you. Here's why. Give me a chance.
And it's funny because you said it wasn't as competitive because, as I can imagine, not a lot of people have the stamina and determination to go through that rigorous of an education, because whether it's nurse practitioner or doctor, anything in the medical field, I imagine, is just going to be academically dense, regardless of what it is. Do you feel like that is a huge, kind of a flaw of the, not the system necessarily, because obviously you can't change how we do medicine because medicine is medicine or medical, whatever. But do you think that it's a hindrance to the medical field how little people are interested in pursuing it?
I think it is, it has to be rigorous and tough and filled with everything that it has. But, I think it could be broken down into, I would like to see more, they still exist for nursing, not nurse practitioner, but more hands-on. I'm a hands-on learner. So you give me a book, I could read it, but I'd rather just jump in, start doing things. So I think more
kinesthetic learning versus the auditory or the verbal or the written. I sometimes feel like that with most academic situations, that there's not a lot that can be done in terms of those who learn kinesthetically as compared to auditorily or the other forms of learning stuff.
Yeah, definitely hands-on. Hands-on is just because you're doing it. You're understanding it while you're learning it.
Yeah.
So it's a lot.
It becomes muscle memory, basically.
Right, yeah.
But my question is, now you always hear this school has the best nursing program. No, this school has the best nursing program, or this has this. How do you determine which school is the best school, and kind of what's the mindset going into this school is better than this school because of this A, B, and C? No, this one's better because of E, D, and F, or whatever it may be.
So there's a couple different factors, at least for myself personally, looking at their NCLEX or their nursing exam pass rates, looking at that.
Okay.
Looking at the program, is it how much student to teacher ratio? Do they have hands-on labs where you can actually go learn on real people versus a mannequin? Where do you do your clinical sites? So is it a big teaching university where you're going to see a lot? Is it a nursing home where you may not see as much, or that sort of thing? So just kind of the whole picture, their teacher to student ratio, just kind of looking at all of that in the whole picture.
Okay.
And the cost, of course.
Sure. Of course, yeah.
So going through school, before school, going through school and being in the field, is it what you thought it was going to be? Or is it okay, I thought it was going to be this, but it turned out to be this? And is it better or not what you thought?
I think a little bit of both. I think it's what I thought it was going to be, since I knew what I was getting into. And actually through the health occupations program in high school, I was able to go job shadow. Always thought I wanted to be a physical therapist. Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
That's very boring. So no. It was what I thought. Definitely what I thought it was going to be.
Awesome. Now, when it comes to getting new patients, right? How do you build trust with new patients? Because for me, I I don't trust easy, and I'm very like, yeah, okay.
I got trust issues.
Yeah, I got a lot of trust issues, and that just stems from childhood trauma. But but yeah, how do you build the trust in new patients that are like
Yeah. So my philosophy of care is typically to try to meet the patient where they're at. So, I don't force anything. My job is to educate, help you move forward with health. Taking time, actually spending quality time with the patient, getting a good history, doing everything, good physical exam, not really pushing if they're here for one thing, pushing something else, or telling them what they have to do because they don't have to do anything. They have rights as a person, as a patient, just trying to meet them where they're at and kind of help come up with game plan to move forward.
Nice.
I think that's a big one, meeting them where they're at. Like when I was a personal trainer, that was like something that we always talk about. It's like you don't want to push something on them. You don't want to tell them what they need. It's okay, what do you want from this? And then you kind of just
build that relationship first, and then you can sort of push them in the way that gets them towards their goals.
Yeah, in your own
once you build that trust,
strategic way, build it into their program.
And it sounds like it's not too different from the nurse practitioner side.
Not at all. No.
Could you give us a snapshot of like what a really awesome day in your job looks like, and then kind of give us an example of the opposite of like a day where it's like, okay, this really sucked. Obviously without giving us too much information because confidentiality, that kind of stuff.
So in awesome days where I can see multiple patients, up to 20 a day. Just really have that patient. The one I find most rewarding is the patient you've been working with, say diabetes or chronic illness. They finally get what you're saying. They're like, oh, yeah, if I would change this or do this just a little bit, I would reach my goals like you've been trying to tell me. So kind of seeing that big light go on them is very rewarding. Very challenging when, especially corporate world versus personal world, your own business. Corporate, they're wanting you to see patients every 15 minutes, trying to go through a laundry list of things. Very, very hard when people are very, very sick, haven't seen providers in days, years, have tons of stuff going on. Versus personal world, since I have my own business, I can control who I see and set the schedule. So I do get to spend that quality time. So since I've had my own business personally, I usually have a great day for the most part. It's always a good day. Getting to see the variety of diseases and just helping.
Hell yeah. Let me see some diseases.
I think that's
nice.
I think that's like very relatable, like in the health field and in the fitness fields, like when they understand what you're talking about. Like when you're a trainer and you have clients and you're trying to put them through like workouts and you're trying to explain diet to them, nutrition, it's like they'll do the workout.
It's a foreign language to them.
Right. Yeah. And it's like they give you so much pushback. But then that moment where it clicks and they're like, okay, and I actually just had that moment recently with one of my clients. I've been training for like over 2 years now. And we've go back and forth on some things like, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Like, hey, this is going to be better for you. And the other day, my last session with her, she was like, I really understand what you're talking about now. Like, I really think that I should start doing this the way you said it. And I was like,
Wait. You mean the service I pay you for? You're actually good at, dude? Who the fuck, brother?
But it's like it's a rewarding moment because it's like finally.
When it clicks, it's great.
Yeah.
How about a bad day? Like a day where it's like, okay, this sucked. Again, just to kind of paint a realistic picture of what you working in your field is like.
Yeah. So going just example last week. So I did a patient home visit, going from having to, talk to the family and the patient that, hey, your disease is terminal. Let's talk about end of life care, keeping somebody comfortable.
Damn.
To have to come back to the clinic and maybe see, like somebody for a wellness visit or something else. Or the next patient you come back from that last week, next patient admitted that they are an alcoholic and they want help, but they came in for like a rash.
It's so like, whoa, okay.
Yeah. So, emotionally taking a toll on my mental health, just trying to adjust to that on the fly and, still give them support. And, it can be very draining mentally.
Dude, how do those talks go? I can't even begin to fathom having a conversation like that and what I would do because I really don't think you can imagine it. It's just in the moment it happens. But like, how does one go about even starting that conversation with a patient?
And like, what's going through your head while you're having that conversation?
Oh crap, I got to tell them, they're dying and how do I do this with dignity and care and empathy? So a lot of times patients know they're not doing good, health wise. So I think just confirming what they already know and just trying to be, kind of ease into it and, again, kind of meet them where they're at. So they usually know what's going on. So just kind of starting the conversation of, this is where you're at health wise. This is the prognosis. This is what I'd recommend, but also giving them that dignity of, having the rest of the quality of life and how they want their legacy to be. I try to pride myself really hard on hearing their story and hearing what their life was about and kind of helping families see that too. And
You kind of take a little bit of a therapist role almost.
Always.
Has that how would you describe that as a toll on your own mental health? Because I imagine is it something that gets easier over time, or is it something that's just it's always hard no matter what, and it's just you have your system of processing it?
A little bit of both. So it does get easier. Death is no fun, and unfortunately we all die at some point. But no, you do get used to it, but also still, I think it keeps us humble and keeps us, keeps me coming back. So the ones that can help and help prevent disease, but having personal time, downtime, so you can do, fun things you enjoy and get your mental health back in check. And yeah, you got to take time for yourself. That's the one thing I keep preaching to everybody.
Do you ever catch yourself thinking about a diagnosis or something when you're off of work? You go home and you're sitting there and you're just man.
Oh yeah, tons. So yeah, I still think about my patients no matter whether they've even passed away or, somebody that has something going on that I'm worried about. So yeah, I always keep my patients there, but I've learned over time to still worry about them, but also set that healthy boundary of, it's home time and I can worry about them, but not be so consumed that it's going to consume all my life and not be able to do my thing.
Keep you sad and depressed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Damn, man.
Yep.
Yeah. How do you handle the pressure of being the one to make those decisions, right? Because that's a big decision, It's you're not just a boss telling an employee, hey, this got to be done. You're not cutting labor. You're not changing deals or losing out on millions. That's different, know?
Yeah, it's how do you put value onto a human life kind of? Because it's true. It's not like cooking the books or just trying to save money here or whatever. It's these are lives.
Not a deal gone bad. You know, it's oh, we lost this, whatever. It's
which is just funny because I feel for the average person does feel world shattering in the moment, but when you compare it to someone who actually takes care of human lives as as a career, it's how arbitrary those other things feel comparatively to that.
Yeah, so, it is a very stressful, high-stress job. But again, I think about helping people versus letting all that get to me.
Yeah.
So, especially even with the premature babies, everybody's how can you do that? You think about helping. Somebody had to help me when I was younger. So you just think about the health aspect of it and, trying to do healthcare like you think it should be done and the right way to do it versus just ignoring people and throwing a medicine at them and, oh, here's a doctor down the street. Go see this specialist.
Speaking of the premature baby specifically, do you have any sort of interaction with these premature kids as they get older? Or is it kind of just within that phase of childhood or infancy or whatever that you interact, and then once they're good, it's oh, probably won't see them again.
Yeah, so it's just more so in the moment,
Got it. Because I imagine that would kind of feel rewarding or kind of offset some of the hard parts of it. Be you deal with a lot of premature babies, but when you see them in society or whatever and they're fully functioning adults, it's oh, hell yeah, I did that.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I actually took care
You
of...
go, kid. This is why I don't work in the health field, because this is the shit that I would do. I'd be hell yeah, you were a preemie? Look at you, good boy. That's what's up. Functioning contributor to society. Hell yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
So how do you approach, when it comes to those severe diagnoses, how do you approach that? When let's say you get a result back or something and you have to go out there and how do you approach doing that?
So I think the same thing with, I said earlier, the conversation with a dying patient, you try to have compassion and go through, unfortunately, this is what we found, but here's, it's not a death sentence. Here's our options.
Yeah.
Again, the person comes to you for a reason. So they know that something's going on in their body. They don't feel right, whether it be mentally, physically, they're having some sort of symptom. So, they probably are scared that something's going on. So, just having that conversation, again, treating them with respect and dignity and, just again, meeting them where they're at and just talking to them like a human and respecting them and just trying to be gentle with it, but, be honest and let them know what's going on and come up with a plan together and, keep their dignity, respect, and all that intact.
Awesome. Shifting gears a little bit, can you tell us, so you talked quite a bit about like the people essentially that you primarily service, but like, can you talk to us about the services that you specifically offer?
Yeah, we don't have all day, right?
Maybe not all day, but if there's a consolidated list or the Spark
Yes.
Notes version, I mean, we'll take it.
Yeah. So I do everything from traditional primary care. So just like you go to the doctor, sick visits, diabetes, asthma, chronic illnesses. I also do functional medicine, which is more natural, holistic route. So some people come to me and they want that. They don't want to take a pill, but they're okay taking a supplement or change diet or lifestyle.
That is definitely more of my approach to most things, for sure.
Which I agree with too. I try to blend both of them. I also do some specialty stuff. So like I was talking earlier, some Botox, some IVs, whether it be for hydration or migraines, or even you can treat long COVID symptoms with some natural medications.
Can you help me get my taste back? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Help me, please. Haven't been able to taste my horchata in a hot minute. And then as far as those specialties goes, were those like all individual educations that you essentially had to do, or were like through your process of becoming, like going through your nurse practitioner education, was all of this covered? Did you have to kind of seek some of these other things out yourself? And can you talk a little bit about that process?
Yeah, so kind of both. I had to seek most of them out. So just knowing that I wanted to offer different type of care. So I do workshops, trainings, follow different people, collaborate with different specialists, whether it be, physical therapy, mental health, trainers, nutritionists, you name it, collaborate with them. But most of it I sought out myself.
Got it.
And then just either did a workshop or, did an educational video to do a different procedure.
Sure.
So a lot of self-education.
Yeah, is there like a database where you find all this stuff, or is it literally just like hopping on Google and being like, yo, I want to learn how to cup somebody? Cupping, not cup somebody, but cupping. Yeah, just to clarify.
So, it's a combination of different jobs and training. So, yes, you can just hop on Google and find an educational course. Some of it have been specialty practices I've worked in. So, chiropractic for the cupping, learned to do some different injections for muscles. Actually learned Botox.
Wait, hold on. Can we slow down? He said injections for muscles. So you can inject me and make my muscles.
Ron, your muscles don't need to get bigger, Ron. You're already jacked. You're already Captain McThickums. You don't need to make Billy and I feel worse, okay? Jeez.
They can always get bigger.
We actually joked about on the way here saying that if we were to get a big following, that the girls would be like, oh my God, this is Ron's podcast. And the other two guys are just there in the background.
It's Ron. Ron and his muscles are two separate hosts, and then Billy and I are just here.
Yeah.
Some side hosts.
Yeah.
Welcome to Out of the Rut, featuring Ron and his biceps.
Wait, we could do that. We could rename that.
Yeah,
we should look into that.
Yeah, we'll look into that later.
Trademark it real quick.
Yeah.
So then staying on this topic, because I love this topic of like other like offshoots of your education, like are there things that people should look out for? Like if they are, let's say they fresh out of school and they're jumping in, they want to find one of these courses, right? These specialties. Like, is there something that they should be cautious of in terms of like which ones are legit, which ones are not? Because in fitness, we see this quite a bit where like you can go online and take a certification or a workshop from somebody, but it could be like Joe Schmo in his freaking garage and it's like not worth shit. Or it could be like some elite level, athlete and stuff like that, who is super credible and has a lot of credentials to their names and stuff. Is there something like that for your field? And it's like, okay, cool. Don't look for this. And it's like super shady. Or if you see this, it's super shady and shit.
Yeah, definitely. So looking at the speaker, looking at their credentials, did they just make a course out of the garage, like you said? Or did they actually have knowledge in the field? Have they been practicing? Are they by an accredited body that actually regulates things? So yeah, you just have to really look, nothing against chiropractors, but there's some great ones out there, but a lot of them are not the best.
It varies.
Yeah, it varies.
Like if they're stellar, they're stellar, and if they're bad, they're not great.
You could tell the ones that had a 4-week course.
Yeah, because I'm a big chiropractor believer, but I've definitely had those adjustments where I'm like, okay, cool, you're doing the same 3 adjustments on everybody, and it's just like transactional versus like specialized care.
Yep.
Whereas I've been to chiropractors who are chef's kiss beautiful.
Yeah. My last chiropractor was, man, like he saved me, dude.
Dude.
I had a really bad back injury on my lower spine,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't squat. Like, I mean,
And you know the world is gonna fucking end if you can't squat.
if I can't squat,
So if Ron can't squat, everybody just stay home, call it a day. The world is over.
yeah, but, yeah, I could do even the bar. Like it just when I went down, it just hurt. I was seeing him for about like it took me like maybe 4 months, and I got back to squatting like 400 pounds. Yeah, like it was great progress that I've seen. Going through him, and I've been to like other doctors where I walk into like an urgent care or something. And they'd be like, oh, it's like sciatica. And I was like, I really don't believe it's sciatica.
Or it's just like, or like it's just not that simple. It's just like it's just this. And it's like,
And
okay.
it's like, no, it's like I hurt myself. Yeah. Like, can you just believe me? I hurt myself. I know I did. I was doing something. I
Like
fucked
I was
something
squatting
up.
300 and now I can barely squat 100. Like
Exactly.
there's
I was squatting 400.
excuse
Don't
me.
take 100 pounds from me, okay? That matters.
Duly noted. Duly noted.
Yeah, no. And then I would see my chiropractor, and dude, it was awesome, man. It was awesome. He got me back to where I wanted to be.
Hell yeah, dude. A lot of cool things in the world of medicine.
Speaking of medicine, how do you stay up to date? Like, okay, first off, I don't know what the fuck this medicine stuff is. Like, if I can't read a label for shit when it comes to medicine, don't know what it is.
If it's longer than like 8 letters, I'm out.
All of them are.
Yeah, I'm tapped out.
Okay. How do you stay up to date with all that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, so continually getting updates, whether it's conferences or emails, depending on, if you're specialized or more general, just seeking out that education yourself. Making sure it's a trusted source, not TikTok or Instagram, that sort of thing.
TikTok comes in with a bunch of medicine.
Yo, dude, continuing education
And it'll
through
be on TikTok shop
brother.
too. You can order the medicine off TikTok shop.
So could you give us an example of like what accredited like resource is versus like an uncredited one? Obviously an uncredited one would be kind of hard to give an example of, but like, do you know some off the top of your head? Like, hey, these are some credible ones or credible sources that do seminars and shit.
Yeah, so depends on your specialty, but like American Academy of Nurse Practitioners, Prime Med. It's a conference here in Chicagoland that has speakers from Harvard, all medical doctors. They put on excellent shows, really, really cheap, excellent. They have online education as well. Different pharmaceutical companies can do it as well.
Oh, cool. Is there like a requirement for you as a nurse practitioner to stay up to date? Because like we talk about fitness a lot, but that's really just the world Billy, Ron, and I come from. Like we have like continuing education courses to be a personal trainer. You have to submit so many every year to stay certified and stuff. And that's to make sure that we're up to date on what all the latest science is on fitness so that we're not breaking people or leading people down the wrong path to achieve their goals. Is there something similar like that for nurse practitioners as well?
Yeah, there is. There's a couple of different levels. So you have your state level, so 20 continuing education hours a year. There's certain courses you have to do, some opioids, always an epidemic you can talk about, Alzheimer's, end of life care. You have to have a certain number of hours with that, certain number of hours of pharmacology. And then for your national board, you have to have like 5,000 hours.
Damn.
Wow.
Over 5 years.
Okay, cool. For some reason, I mean, it's still a lot. I definitely thought you were going to say 5,000 like a year or 2 years. I was going to be like, that is, I don't think possible. Dude, crazy. That's cool though. I mean, that makes sense because again, you're dealing with an ever evolving science. You want to make sure you're up to date on all the good stuff, dude.
What do you do? All right, so this is something I have a hard time when I have clients and they don't take my advice.
Yeah.
What do you do when the clients or when your patients just refuse to take your advice, but they're like continuing patients? Like they come in, they see you, you give them advice, they don't take it, they come in again. You're like, well, you should do this. Well, I don't want to do this.
So good question. So again, I try to meet them where they're at. I've had plenty of patients do that. Sometimes it just takes a different approach to get them to click in their head and see that, you know what, I should be doing this, and this is why. So sometimes it may be having a frank conversation. Hey, you know what? I've tried to approach this different ways. I've tried to help you. Our medical patient relationship here is not going anywhere. I'd love to still take care of you, but don't really see any progress, and there's really no sense in coming back if you're not going to make some sort of progress and work towards health. So sometimes it's having that difficult conversation, but I try to give people benefit of the doubt and try to work with them and, give them at least one goal. Hey, you know what? Next month, can you drink 2 bottles of water instead of 1? Can you start moving? Something for them to achieve, and then baby steps will lead to big fires, and before you know it, they're healthy and they're good to go.
Heck yeah. Does that conversation change whether you work in more of a corporate setting versus working for yourself? And the reason I ask is because I don't know really anything about the business side of the medical profession. I do sometimes feel like, at least because I don't go to the doctor nearly as much as I should. But I often felt like it was the need, I felt like I was being egged to return always versus like treating the long-term problem. And I don't know if that's a reality that's true, or if that's something I've just kind of fabricated in my mind, or how I feel about it. But does that conversation in terms of like how you have that hard conversation change from working in a more corporate setting versus working for yourself and being able to like decide what your priorities are as this being your business?
So a little bit, yes. I've always tried to just take care of the long problem to begin with as my own philosophy of care. But yes, there is sometimes in corporate world where they, they do encourage you to come back and do different things to try to get patients to come back so they have more revenue.
Got it.
Yes, it does change.
Got it. So I'm not crazy.
Maybe just a little.
Yeah, just a smidge.
I think it's like that, like everywhere. Like when you work for corporate, it's more like it's about like the dollar.
I was curious
results.
about because you really think that if I go see a doctor or like the medical field, it's like they want to treat me for the long term. And I've always kind of wondered if that was always the case, or if that was really up to the individual or whatever corporate entity you work for in the medical field. But I appreciate your honesty on that. I appreciate
welcome.
it.
Yeah.
I feel very validated.
I will ask the dumb question because I'm not smart when it comes to medical stuff. What is the difference between a nurse practitioner and a doctor?
Yeah, I asked that same question.
You know what?
So
totally cool. I'll be honest.
I asked that same question.
I'm really glad you fell on the sword, Billy, because I was really curious myself.
And for our listeners who are asking the same question but are afraid to ask.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So difference is nurse practitioner has a nursing background. So I've taken care of patients at the bedside, whether it be in the hospital, in a clinic setting. Kind of got more of that holistic, touchy-feely background along with...
almost a hospitality-ish vibe.
Yes, exactly. Customer service, yep. Whereas physicians go to medical school for 8 to 10 plus years, and they typically don't have any background. Whereas I have background, and straight out of high school, you can go into medical school and not have any background.
Dude.
Yep, where I have tons of experience. I bring my experiences with me, my knowledge, and then go back as a nurse practitioner. There's different interventions we can do as nurses that we don't need a doctor's order. So like, for instance, putting on a heating pad if somebody has a fever, or, just helping somebody with their everyday activities, starting an IV, different things, different procedures, different things we can do that doctors don't really know or necessarily sometimes have the best bedside manner. So difference is education, basically training, as in the state of Illinois. In other states, nurse practitioners can have full practice authority where they're able to practice by themselves. They have to have at least 4,000 hours of practice. So we can be somebody's primary care. We can do specialty. We can have our own business. Doctors also can, but whereas physician assistants, they're also kind of somewhere in between. They're trained in medical, but they also can have a background in German polka history or whatever. And they go to PA school and they're trained more medical, whereas they're more kind of matter of a fact. Whereas nursing, we look at the whole picture, more empathy. So there's not a lot of difference. We can all still diagnose, prescribe, treat, order, testing. We just have the nursing background, and the doctors have more knowledge and training.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
Now, let's say you got your license in Illinois, right? And now let's say 10 years from now you want to move to Florida or Houston. Does that carry with it? Do you have to do the whole thing all over again? What's the process with that?
Yeah, so it does carry with you. So you have to have your RN first. So I am an advanced practice nurse is the big body, whereas my specialty is family nurse practitioner, but all of us are in advanced practice. So you have to always carry your RN license no matter where you go. And then, yes, typically states have reciprocity and they honor each other's licensure and that you took the board and the exam and different requirements. Sometimes it's background checks. Sometimes you have to take a test on their state practice act.
Sure.
Like Wisconsin. I've been licensed there in Indiana. It's not an easy process.
Got it. Have you ever considered relocating your practice?
I have, actually.
Ooh, where'd you go? This is just more of a friendship question. I'm just curious. Where is Kevin going?
It's a good question. I thought about Canada.
Ooh, Canada.
Canada, they have an excellent healthcare system. They welcome with open arms. Never been there. Always wanted to go.
Hey,
Thought
good
about
reason as
that.
any.
Yeah. Somewhere nice and warm, like maybe Florida.
Yeah. On kind of like the healthcare topic, like what is your role? So I don't even really know how to phrase this question because it's so odd. Like it's as it pertains to like insurances and things like that. Like what roles do insurances play in what you do and essentially like how does any of that work? Just explain it for the idiot that is myself.
Yeah. So insurances. So you pay a premium, you have a specific plan with the insurance, they cover specific things. Ron's insurance plan might be different than Billy's, different than yours. Everybody gets a different plan. Can also go based on income, but they actually dictate what's covered during that plan. Sometimes what medications you can get, what procedures you can do, even though it may be medically necessary. Or you might say, hey, I need this to diagnose my patient with whatever. Insurance can say, sorry, we don't want you to do that today. Tough luck. Sorry.
Oh, that sucks. Sucks to be you. What are your like and you could be as honest or as dishonest as you want. We don't have a lie detector attached to you. I'm curious, like what are your opinions on that? Like, is maneuvering around insurances something that you're like, yo, how the hell as a country are we still on this? Yeah.
Yep. So, that's why you have cash pay as well. That's why, in my practice, I try to do some memberships. So,
Dude, that's dope.
Yeah. Includes my own special package of different visits, labs, that sort of thing. I'm not a huge fan of insurance companies.
Yeah. It's like, how do you go about being like insured through certain, because like, for instance, like I'm on that public network, which means I see all of the greatest doctors, of course. But like, how do you go about being on like a certain insurance network versus not? Like when I look up like for my insurance, how do you get your name on the list of doctors that are covered by this insurance? And how do you pick and choose which ones you want to work with versus not?
Yeah. So it was a learning process for myself, but do something called credentialing. So you basically go to the website for each insurer. They have certain requirements, whether it's a form, whether it's multiple forms, your firstborn child, your arm, your leg. They have a rigorous process depending on what it is.
Feels like these days.
Yeah.
Seriously though.
Yeah. So you apply, you give them all your educational credentials. You have to do it for each separate individual insurance company.
Okay. Ooh,
So,
all right.
like Blue Cross is one, straight Medicaid's one. All the different types of Medicaid are different. Medicare's different. It's all separate.
Cigna.
So then Cigna, you apply, and then anywhere from 2 days to 120 days, they will give you an answer whether you're on their panel, whether you missed something in the process. The Medicare application is 75 pages.
Oh, damn. That's about 74 pages longer than I care to read.
Yeah. So then they put you on their panel and you can accept patients for them. And then they don't tell you can't fight this, but they pay you whatever they pay you for the initial contract.
So you don't really get a say in any of that.
Not initially.
That's
After you
weird.
recredential in 3 years, you can say, hey, I've seen this many patients. Here's my healthcare outcomes. Like, hey, out of 100% of my patients, 75% got their colon cancer screening done. The diabetes is under control. Different measures that we measure in healthcare to see how well we're doing. Different benchmarks. Then you can redo the credentialing process.
So I just want to understand, like, because I don't know if I understand that correctly. So say if someone pays with insurance, right? So say like we do a procedure and I give you my insurance card. When that processes, the insurance decides how much they pay you from that?
Correct. So I could charge the insurance $2,000 if they're only going to pay set amount of whatever. Like say they only want to pay $50 for that, then that's what I get.
Really?
That is capital B booty.
Yep.
That is, yeah.
So they could be like, "Yo, hey Kev, you can hold $1," and that's just it.
Yeah.
Like they'll let you hold $1. That's
Yeah,
it.
right.
Oh.
Yep, they can deny because say we bring back a patient and it's called a global fee. Say I need you to come back because we started a new medication. You're sick. You come back in. Nothing of my fault per se. And the visit was too close together for them, so they won't pay for the second visit, even though you're doing the right thing for the patient.
Since there has to be a
Wow,
time-
that's
a time
disgusting.
yeah.
Some of them, yes.
I
Yes.
see why people hate insurance companies.
Yep.
Yeah, holy shit. This is eye opening to me. Who had the
Weird.
insurance question? That was genius. I love that.
I think it was you.
So then I'll pat myself on the back real quick. Do you have an insurance like provider that you like working with versus ones that like you would be like, hey, you know what? If you're new to nurse practitioning, dude, and you're looking at who to partner with, avoid these guys. Or like, yo, these are the ones that I find I enjoy working with the most.
Yeah, so Blue Cross and Blue Shield, PPO, because there's different types of insurance.
Sure.
So there's something called a PPO, which is typically you can go to any provider at any time with no referral. You can just say, hey, I need to go see a skin doctor about this weird mole I have. Versus an HMO, you have to designate a provider as primary care and you have to get a referral for everything. So a lot of the PPOs are great. Blue Cross is great. Actually,
I got a PPO. I'm looking at my
Yeah,
card.
dude, our boy's a PPO boy.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna check mine
Let me
actually.
see if I have my digital.
Yeah, hang on. Grab my wallet behind you there, Billy. I need to
You
know.
gotta check insurance cards now?
Yeah, we're gonna insurance check while we have Kevin here. Kevin, help us. Let us know if we're gonna die soon based
Yes.
off of which insurance we
Yeah.
have. So I'm in the public sector. I got Ambetter. Is that booty?
They're decent. They're
Oh, cool.
okay.
You know what?
They're
Shout out
okay.
to Ambetter for being
Yes.
decent.
Yes. Meridian's decent. Some of the county care, which is care for those in Cook County, it's not the best. Some of these other insurance companies, they do try to do some incentives for people to get healthier. They give them like cash or rewards or gift cards for doing their physicals or going to the doctor, which I think is a great incentive. But, we should want to take care of our health to begin with. So
What do you got, Billy?
Blue Cross Blue Shield.
PPO?
Oh, yeah, at the bottom.
Hey, we
yeah.
both got PPO.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Fuck you guys. yeah.
Yeah,
Public.
Yep.
So I'm sorry. Just kind of go back real quick. You said so PPO can basically see anything without a referral. Is that correct?
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay, so you want PPO.
You do. So another part of this aspect is also thinking about me, myself as being self-employed. So insurance is very difficult and very expensive for myself to get. Like health insurance, not just
Really?
malpractice.
As a doc
Yes,
or as a
yes.
nurse practitioner?
Yes.
Dude, that's
What?
so backwards to me. Like,
Hey, I'm in the health field,
Yep.
but we don't care.
because
We're gonna
like
make your
and I don't
insurance
know if this is
expensive.
true, but like I've heard that like if you work in fitness, it's pretty easy to get insurance, or like your insurances tend to be better because you work in like a health and wellness field.
Yeah.
But for a nurse practitioner,
Nope.
it's not the same.
No, it's not. No.
Oh,
Healthcare.
that sucks.
What?
Yeah, because I'm not part of a big company and I can't get a discount from insurance because I'm a little guy in the totem pole.
That is super shitty.
That is,
Yeah.
yeah, that is mind-boggling. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, boggling and boggling.
that is flabbergasting.
Yep.
Hot
sad.
damn. How about ones that you don't like? Did you already answer that? We were all
no,
whipping
no.
out our insurance
Yeah.
cards.
No,
I might
you're
have missed
good.
that
No.
part.
No. United Healthcare.
Ha, yeah.
Hey, well, I think you're not the only one.
Yeah, you might be.
Yeah, we know who doesn't
There's
like
a-
them.
Hey, you know what? Shout out to Luigi, yo.
Yeah, hey,
Shout out, brother.
thank you for your service.
Going back to another quick question for the PPO and HMO. For the ones, is there any is there any pro to having the HMO ones compared to PPO, or is it just PPO is better because of what it offers?
Just period.
Yeah, the only benefit of the HMO is it's cheaper premiums or free, or some people actually get subsidized or paid to have the health insurance.
Huh.
Just crazy. But,
Nice. People get paid to have health insurance.
do.
Where do
They
I
do.
sign up
Yeah,
for that
I'm
fucking
saying,
drug?
like-
right.
God damn.
But no, usually the PPO is, not that, you can't have an HMO provider that provides quality care, but the PPO tends to be providers that are, better at their specialty, well respected, that sort of thing. So there's some benefit to that.
Now, I know with at least our job, we get like a health saving kind of card where you use for like medical and like prescriptions and stuff. Do all doctors accept that, or is it just certain doctors, or what's the call on that?
So it's certain providers. So typically the health savings account and flexible spending is something that sometimes your employer contributes to. Sometimes some health insurance do contribute to it that you can use for healthcare funds. Don't know if you know it or not, but you can actually use it for retirement.
Really?
Didn't know that.
can.
Glad we got that
You
recorded.
can put it into a money market.
Dude,
And you can actually save it if you hit a certain spot. You can put it in retirement.
that's so cool to know.
We'll make sure to record this and have it saved.
Yeah.
Let's just like really like save this part and just send it to
Hey, Caitlin.
everybody.
Hey, Caitlin, which for our listeners, Caitlin does our social media. Hey, Caitlin, if you're listening to this part, snip this part for us and just send it to me and Ron and Billy separately because we will forget this and we will need to remember this later.
Yes.
I will wake up at 3 in the morning and say, hey, I need that clip. I can go back and listen to it real quick.
Yeah. Play back.
Just trying to have a retirement fund.
I know. Like, yo, thank you, insurance.
Now, I do got one question.
Keep cooking, Billy. Keep cooking.
And you may kind of already touch on this question, X, when you asked Kevin.
Touch it again.
But, you have like...
Touch it again.
Pause.
His words, not mine.
You had the stigma of like doctors are just giving us medicine just so it does damage over time, or it's like it keeps us coming back. What's kind of like your opinion or advice on people with that kind of mindset?
Yeah, so I think they get very stagnant in their field. They don't challenge themselves to grow, come up with new ideas, rethink outside the box. They kind of fall into that textbook. Here's the guidelines. Let's do it because we did this for 15 years. I think we should always continue to grow and learn and, again, meet that patient where it is. And maybe this doesn't work for them. So let's reapproach and do something different.
Okay. Nice. I always think of that scene. It's the movie with Denzel Washington in the hospital. Is it John Q? I think it is.
This is the second time you brought up a movie on the podcast that I have no idea what movie you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. It's a really good movie.
But Denzel. I know better than to call bullshit on this one because Ron and I ate our words last time.
Well, like there was a movie, I think it's called like John Q or something with Denzel Washington where his son has like a heart issue and he needs like a heart transplant. And because of the insurance, it wasn't going to cover it.
I did see that.
Yes. It was like after the whole Luigi thing, that someone kept snipping that clip, and it's like, what's the point of me paying into this insurance policy if they're not going to pay for it?
Yeah.
And that's why I've been thinking ever since this whole Luigi thing.
I'm really the odd man out here. You both have PPOs. You're both watching the same Denzel movies. I'm really like third wheeling this shit today.
But yeah, they like it, they were
Step
sitting.
it up, X.
They were sitting in like this waiting room, and they're like the male nurse was like, yeah, because you got this. Insurance companies will tell them to not inform you on some stuff, so because they won't pay for the test. Like you mentioned, how it won't cover for everything. And so then this entire time, his son had this issue and never knew about it.
Damn.
All because of his insurance type.
Crazy.
Very crazy. Yeah.
Let's how do we feel about going down conspiracy theories here?
Yes.
I mean, I'm down. I'm sure it'll be. We'll get into some great conversation from those because I have one or two that I want to ask. I want to ask. I want to ask Kevin.
One.
I'm like Kevin. So, tell us all the gritty, bro.
This is the one I have, and I solely believe. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. Call me an idiot.
He'd be the one to tell you.
Yeah. So when people get diagnosed with cancer, right? Tough situation, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Way to bring the mood down.
Yeah.
No, I'm for it. Keep going.
And this one, like I've read into this conspiracy, and it kind of makes sense. Biopsies. When you think of cancer, you think it's keeping the poison in this little ball, right? Like that you have to remove.
Yep.
Yeah.
But when they say go do a biopsy, don't biopsies open that up and cause the spreading of it? Like you poke at it, you slice it open.
Kevin's already called bullshit.
Yeah, brother. I don't know.
This is why we have Kevin
it's
here.
Funny that you bring it because I saw about a week or so ago some kind of topic on there where it's like, what if you just kept it there and it doesn't spread and it just magically doesn't like kill you?
Just there.
Yeah.
Or
lead weight
another
of a
thing is,
tumor.
why don't they just cut it out without fucking with it?
So it depends on where it is. So
Thank
it
you,
depends on your other body parts. So, is it connected to a blood vessel? Is it connected to a nerve? Typically, no, it does not spread when you cut into something or take a biopsy. Typically, depending on the type of cancer. So, for instance, skin cancer, you try to get the whole thing. So kind of what you're talking about. Whereas lung, you might just grab a bit of it, or like your brain. You can't take your whole brain out.
Even though for some people, I'm sure we wish we could.
Yeah.
You could. So it just depends on the location and, what's going on. So, but it does not spread.
Nice.
No.
Hey, you know what? Debunked.
Okay.
No.
I have a conspiracy theory, and maybe it isn't. It's just an opinion or thought I had. Like, do doctors make a profit off of pushing drugs onto people? Like
He won't tell you
because
that.
he's like, we're gonna cut this from the record. This is just for me. So if you there's a weird cut here, listeners, it's because I know the truth and you don't. But like because pharmaceutical sales are a thing, right? People selling pharmaceuticals.
Yep.
So I have to imagine, or at least how my brain has kind of connected A, B all the way to Z is like, if their pharmaceutical companies are selling pharmaceuticals to doctors, is there some sort of financial obligation to push that drug onto people when maybe there are alternative ways to solve problems, I guess?
The answer is yes and no. So no, doctors don't get a kickback if they say this is the new latest greatest drug. They
Give
do
this
not.
to everybody.
Nope, they don't. They don't. They might get a free dinner or a free swag or something from
They
the
get
pharmaceutical.
a nice firm handshake.
Yes.
All right.
But no.
Here's your Johnson & Johnson hat. Thank you for
I'd be like, here's a goodie bag. Thank you. You know what? Another debunked. Thank you, Kevin. Because I've thought that for a long time. I was like, because I've had a doctor, specifically when I was younger, I have a very like vivid memory of like being on this one drug that I know I had a really bad reaction to because it was horrible. And I remember going to my doctor afterwards, and they were like really adamant to keep me on those drugs. And I'm like, yo, I'm waking up. Like I woke up in the dead of night with cold sweats, scared to get out of my bed because I thought I was going to freeze to death, and woke up in the like full body pain. And the minute I was off the drug, it was fine. So it kind of that's where that idea kind of came from. Was like, why did you want me to be on this drug so badly?
Right.
If there wasn't any sort of benefit from it on their end, you know. But I'm glad you debunked that because I feel I have a little bit more peace of mind now, Kevin.
Yeah.
Any more conspiracy theories? I'm having
absolutely.
fun
You
with
want to
this.
jump? I'll let you
No.
You sure?
I don't really. The one I have is kind of the one that you kind of touched up on.
Are there any sort of like conspiracy theories that you hear that you're kind of just like eye roll? Like, of course, people think this, but it's never not the case. Or just some common misconceptions about what you do, maybe what people think you do versus the reality of it, you know?
Yeah. So there's a ton. So, you have staff that roam patients. So a lot of them think that is the nurse or the provider. So I've had patients before come in, introduce myself as the healthcare provider. I say healthcare provider, not nurse practitioner, because nobody knows what that is.
Sure.
So
much like we didn't.
Yeah,
so sweet.
Yeah, so I introduce myself that way. But yeah, they think the medical assistant is, or the person intaking is the provider. And they will believe what they said, even though it's not correct. Even though I'm the provider and say, here's what's going on and here's what we need to do. I think just in America, just educating themselves in general.
Yeah, WebMD really fucked us up. Too much knowledge at our fingertips, dude.
Yeah.
Going down the rabbit hole. You got a headache now. You have something much more worse going on.
I mean, I fall into that trap too. I WebMD everything before I go see a doctor. I'm the problem.
yeah, absolutely no. I would never.
Thank you.
do
You
that.
keep me in business. Thank you.
Hey, you know what, Kevin? I got you, player. Don't worry, man. I'm doing it for you, Kevin.
I'm not gonna look that up. I have a cough. What's wrong with me? Well, you're gonna die in about 3 days.
Yeah.
So no, I can't look that up. I can't look any of that up.
Have you ever had to like go head to head with a doctor that's maybe thought one thing and you're like, no, I think this, and you all duke it out? And how does that go? Is it like 3 rounds in the ring? Is it like just like how do you go about stepping up to especially it's in the case where like people think that like we hold doctors to this such a high pedestal, and to be honest with you, like you said, like we didn't really super duper know the difference before this. I'm starting to think now I might trust the nurse practitioner more than I trust the doctor.
I do too, because I've been to like a couple urgent cares where I've went through processes and I'm just like, this doesn't make any sense to me. And I got here, I was referred to Kevin, and I'm like, okay, I come in here and this guy is like, yeah, this is what's going on. This is how we're gonna do it. And I'm
makes
like,
way more sense.
Yeah, I'm like, holy shit. Okay, this is great.
Yeah, tell us how Kevin dukes it out with doctors.
Yeah. So I have over the years, just telling them the facts. I don't argue with stupidity.
Hell yeah. I love that, Kevin.
So, just letting them sometimes think they're right and just being the bigger person. That's what I do. There's also something back to the insurance. You can also do a peer-to-peer review. If an insurance, say somebody needs a prior authorization, whether it be a medication, a procedure, whatever, I can request to have a peer-to-peer with the peer of mine, quote unquote, whether it be a doctor, a surgeon, whatever they have, even a nurse, nothing against any of them, but,
Sure.
Have a conversation with them why they need this procedure, why they need something. And they will go through an algorithm. If it's not part of their algorithm, I don't know who made it. Even though they agree with you, they will still deny, most of the time, will deny
Oh, that sucks.
either the claim or the prior authorization or the medication that may be really needed. Or somebody might need a special thing because they're allergic to X, Y, and Z. So they need a medication that has no fillers in it, no extra ingredients.
Most people are allergic to X.
Yeah, yeah.
Most people.
Or like thyroid medicine. There's certain people that need a specific medicine because it's the only one that will work for them.
Got
So
it.
yeah, just duking out, telling them why they need it, and ultimately, unfortunately, you are at the mercy of the insurance company. Yeah.
Moving back because I know we're on a limited time crunch, and I know we want to squeeze in as much useful information as we can. If someone was looking to or to become a nurse practitioner following school, and they're like applying for jobs, like if they're looking at a resume, right, and they're looking at how to put their best foot forward or what to highlight on a resume in order to get seen, is there like something? Are there skills that they should be highlighting and putting more at the top of their resume to get seen? I say this because like AI plays such a big role in hiring practices, and with AI kind of filtering resumes out and just being thrown out if they don't see those buzzwords. Like, what in your opinion would be some of those buzzwords that you'd want to have on a resume to really put you in a good position to get a job as a nurse practitioner?
Yeah, so it depends on your field. Like if you're going to a specialization, a general practice, having whatever keyword, say you want to specialize with allergies, having the keyword of allergy or rash or experience. I will tell you personally, having a cover letter that kind of explains your story will also help, help you get stand out from the AI. And there's even buttons to remove your application from being reviewed from AI.
Is there really?
Yes, there is.
Dude, nice.
Wow.
I didn't know
Indeed.
that was a thing now.
Yep. Yeah.
That's actually really good to know. Awesome. And then as far as like, okay, cool. So you have the job. Let's say you are a nurse practitioner now. You're working at I don't want to say entry level because entry level is not a great way to describe it, but like you're kind of at the ground floor of like what sort of avenues open up for you if you were looking to like progress in the field. Like, are there other roles outside of being a nurse practitioner? Is there like a hierarchy? Can you like be a manager of people? It's like what sort of avenues open up?
You can. There's tons of avenues. So medical and healthcare never has an end. So, if there's everything from if you want some specialized training, say you want to learn surgery, you can focus on that.
Dude, you can learn surgery as a nurse practitioner?
You can.
Dude, that's badass.
Yeah. You can actually close people up and operate them, do some specific operations in the operating room.
Yeah, I had two. Kevin, two.
Dude, what do doctors even
two
do? Dude? It
operations.
seems like nurse practitioners are where all the magic's at. Shit.
That's where it's at.
We're going to need Dr. Kevin in the OR quick, please.
Yeah. I'll be like, doctor, whoever wants it, sit back. Yo, I got Kevin here, dude.
Yep. But yeah, just seeking out, those opportunities again, like we were talking about, just taking special courses. You can be a manager, you can have your own practice, you can choose to do telehealth, you can do insurance nurse practitioner where you are the person kind of reviewing all that and trying to help people on that end. You can do home nursing. You can do, they have something called Medicare risk assessments where the age population has providers come out to their homes and they assess them for falls and make sure they're on their medications, that sort of thing. So the possibility is endless.
That's really cool. That's awesome. And then kind of the last thing I have, if anybody else wants to jump in after, where would you like to see your practice develop? Like right now you're operating your own little business, right? You have your own practice. Like what would the future look like for you in a perfect world?
So I can borrow somebody's credit card here so we can open plenty of clinics, but yeah. So I would love to be the premier healthcare for the state of Illinois, not just this area. Nice. So I feel like there's different avenues. I can tap into telehealth. I would love to open more clinics and clone myself and train others so I can provide quality care everywhere.
Dude, hell yeah.
That's awesome.
That sounds exciting, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also working on this platform too. Also, I would like to have a few goals. Work on a platform for healthcare, just different disciplines and different people who have their businesses to work not only on the medical side, if I need a specialist, have like a group of providers together that have their own business and are independent practice. Like say I need a neurology or I need to ask something about something specific. Have a platform for us to be able as providers and professionals to consult with each other. Or say you go to the chiropractor and the chiropractor's like, oh, this is doing better, but tell your primary care to look into X, Y, and Z. Having kind of a communication portal and then having something on the patient side where if you need health insurance, if you need a specialist, if you need whatever health related, a different website or a different portal where patients can find that easily.
Nice.
So
Wow.
What are some things that you've come across in practice that challenged what you were taught in school?
oh, good question. So I'd say a lot with just comes to mind is, you're taught one way, this is the standard to do, treat X, Y, and Z. Whereas, you come into the hardships that maybe the patient doesn't have insurance and they have to be cash pay for this. Or again, the medication is not approved, or, this medication really doesn't work, but if we try something different that's not the standard, maybe that works. Or being more aggressive than what you're taught. So like pre-diabetes, jumping straight in. Let's take care of this before it becomes diabetes. Let's get you that personal trainer. Go see Ron. Get a dietitian.
Shameless plug for Ron.
Let's tackle it ahead of time. So I think, the guidelines are there and they're there for a reason and they're backed by science, but also again, thinking outside the box. We have brains. We all, are smart human beings. We're educated. Just trying to do that and throw the insurance world in it and life and pharmacies that want to prove things because it's a day too early, but they might be leaving town and they need their medication. So there's a
That
lot.
still just blows my mind that it's a day too early. So it's
Yeah.
not getting covered. Like that's
Dude, that's insane.
yeah.
But we are at time, and we know that Kevin's got some patients that he has to attend to. But one last thing, shameless plug. If anyone had questions for you, Kevin, how would they reach out to you? What would be the best way to get in contact with you if people have questions or anything regarding what you do?
Yeah. You can always follow me on social media. My Instagram is KStrollFHC. I'm on Facebook. Can always go to my website, familyhealthcareclinics.org. It's an S because there were two. There was two. Now there's two again, opening a new clinic next week. So
Nice.
Yeah, come see me for all your healthcare needs and all your questions.
Hey, well, thank you so much, Kevin. And as always, listeners, if you have any suggestions for people we should interview, or if you have any stories of you yourself in rut that you want us to talk about, please reach out to us at outoftherut@yahoo.com. This was Kevin. I'm Xavier.
Billy?
I'm Ron.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll be back next week, blessing your ear holes on another Tuesday morning.